Hello there, my name is Melissa and I'm the creator of this spreadsheet and the director of Plan Easy. Thank you so much for making your purchase. If you haven't already, the link is just below this video to our Etsy shop for you to make your purchase. So this is a quick tutorial to just take you through our ultimate wedding planner, which is designed to cover every aspect of your wedding and make planning a lot easier for you. I've created this spreadsheet to be very user friendly. I've obviously worked with lots of brides over the years that have showed me various planners, and I found some of them really complex that had a lot of unnecessary features, and I've tried to just filter them out but still cover everything, and I've also added some extra bits. So I'm going to be working in Google Sheets today and showing you the tutorial through that. The planner is also available in Microsoft Excel, so if you're working in Excel it may look slightly different to this. So when you first open your document, it's going to look like this. And what you are going to need to do is go to File and make a copy. Okay. So once you've made your own copy, that will save to your own Google account. So we have this here, all these links. This is one way that you can navigate the spreadsheet. You can also go via these tabs down here. But if you're using these ones, you'll need to hover over the tab that you want to go to and then click on this link here. If you wish to share the document, you can do that by going up here, clicking the arrow, and it will give you a link that you can send to friends, family, the venue, your wedding planner if you have one, although this is designed so that you don't need a wedding planner. So when you open this first page, you have the currency selector. So if you click the drop down, it will give you the options of dollars, euros, or pounds. So I am in England, so I'm going to be selecting the British pounds. So here we just got a little bit of an introduction. And then if we go further down, we have a disclaimer just saying that this is for personal use. Please don't share it. Please don't sell it on. And then we've got here how to use this template. So the first box, you can type freely in white boxes. So there's a lot of information within the spreadsheet that we really don't want you to alter. And you'll find that those slots are protected. If you try and click on alter one of these slots, what will happen is you will get a little box appear and it will notify you that this is a protected space and editing it may cause the template not to work. If that happens, just push the X in the top right of the box and don't try and edit that box again. But you'll generally find that you can type in white boxes only. Okay, cells highlighted in shades of pink contain formulas or calculations. Do not edit these, so that's just what I explained. Watch the video's instructions and then when I've completed this video, there will be a link there and you can refer back to this video as many times as you like. And just below the video, there's also a breakdown of which tab is at what point in the video. So you haven't got to keep watching the whole video. You can skip forward to those sections. Okay, so here we've got all the different tabs that are included in your planner. And here we have an overview of each of those tabs. And then further down, we've got a little note from myself. I don't think there's anything else to cover on this tab. So let's move forward to the dashboard tab. Okay, so this is the dashboard tab. This is a complete overview of your spreadsheet, which will allow you to just open it without going through the whole of the spreadsheet to find out the information you want to know. So as mentioned, you can type in the white cells. So here we've got the groom's name, the bride's name, save the date, which is your planned wedding date, and the location. Now, whichever date that you input here, this is going to autofill into our calendar tab, which is just here, and that's going to create this little countdown here. So again, don't try and type in this will autofill and create its own countdown for you. Here we've got the timeline checklist, so anything within your timeline tab that is not ticked as done is going to appear here. We've then got upcoming deadlines, so anything in the current calendar month that is on your calendar is going to reflect here. tasks due today. So again, anything that is in your calendar for today is going to appear here. We've then got information that has auto-filled from our guest list tab. This information here, guest seated, not seated, that will auto-fill from our seating plan tab. Save the date sent and not sent. Again, this is the guest list tab. And then we've got thank you notes sent and not sent. So this is our last tab, which is gifts and thank yous received. If you then go up here, we have all the financial information. So we have a finance tracker included, which is under the budget tab, which is just down here. So this is your overall budget that you will set for yourself. And again, you're not going to input that here. That will be put into the budget tab, which we'll go through shortly. We've then got budget used. So this is where you've allocated money. This is the budget remaining. This is left to allocate. We've then got the actual amount paid out. So this is the physical payments that you have made to vendors. We've then got balance to be paid. This is where you still have invoices or payments to make. And down here we've got a little space for you to pop a picture of you and your partner. Okay, so the third tab is our timeline tab. So here we have, I think it's 6 tables. We've got 12 months before the wedding, 6 to 12 months before the wedding. If we move down, 3 to 6 months before the wedding, 1 to 3 months before the wedding, 1 to 2 weeks, and 1 week before the wedding. So here you can input tasks in this time period. So we have a tick box for whether the task is complete or not. And just going back to the dashboard, as I said, if this is marked as complete, it will not appear in your timeline overview on the dashboard. So for instance, pay flowers is not going to appear in there. You're just going to have free for the month of 12 months plus. And then here we have a deadline. So whichever date you input here is going to autofill into the calendar, and it's going to autofill with this information here. So if you click on the 1st of the 12th, 2025 on the calendar tab, you will see pay flowers. I'll refer back to that later. And we've got person in charge, so that's whoever has been allocated the task. We've got the priority, so we've got very high, high, medium, low, very low. And then we've got the description of the task. Okay, so our next tab is the calendar tab. Now, this tab will autofill from the timeline tab and the vendors tab. And up here, you can view schedule from, and then you tick whichever tab you'd like to view the information from. So timeline tab is just down here, and then we've got our vendors tab, which is further along here. And then we have punctual deadlines. So punctual deadlines, if we just view information from there, if you want to manually input something that isn't necessarily on your timeline or on your vendors tab, then you can put information in here. So I've put, for example, book flowers 28 for the 12th, 25, and therefore that has appeared just here on the calendar. And again, so you can view punctual deadlines, remove, the calendar's empty, timeline, autofills from the timeline tab, vendors, and it will add the information from the vendors tab. And obviously you can all view all three all at once. You can change the month of the year by selecting our drop downs just over here. Next we have the itinerary tab. So here we've got a table. This is really handy to share with your wedding planner. So if there's any issues on the day, you can they can refer directly to the person in charge of that particular event that's taking place. So we've got time here, we've got the event that's taking place, the person in charge, and any notes. I've popped in there whether and no shows because I think that's something to consider. Next we have the theme tab. So I love this tab. It's where you can just dump all of your ideas for your wedding and where your wedding is really going to come together, especially with the decor. So we've got lots of subheadings. We've got theme overview, colour palette, mood boards. You can just copy and paste and put images in here. So if you add a colour here, if you go up to the little paint pot, you can select from these colours. If your colour is not in here, you can select add a custom color, and this little circle here is going to show you the color that you're going to be filling your box with. So it's a grey at the minute. So if we go all the way down to the pinks, and then we go around here, that will give us a nice pink color, and you click OK, and it should fill that box with a pink. So you can do that with your primary and your accent colors. Further down, we've got decor and atmosphere, and again, you can pop little images in here, or you can write in these boxes. We've got guest accommodation options, which is quite good to copy and paste in emails to guests. We've got wedding planner options, the wedding officiant, childcare options, cake ideas. So the further that you come down, any of the titles where I feel like to compare vendors, you're also going to need to visualize some of their work. We've got these little boxes here and somewhere that you can make notes. So in comments, you might want to write cake 1 and then pop a picture of some of their previous work or what they're offering over here. And we've done that for wedding favours, flowers and bouquets, transport, wedding rings, bridal hair and makeup, signage, wedding attire, table centerpieces, and extras. If you feel that you need more of these boxes, and that I haven't put enough on this particular tab, although I think 5 is enough, there is this photo tab down here which you can click on, and they've got lots of these boxes, and really you can use that to put any inspirational pictures in for your photographer or as an extension of this page. Also, it's important to know that any cost that you input onto the theme tab, none of them will autofill into the budget. So this really is for comparison only. Once you make your final decision, you'll need to input any expenses into the vendors tab, this one down here. So if we forward to the wedding party tab, we've got a table here, and this is to track your wedding party. So the table consists of a name column, role, items required, quantity, cost, total cost, notes and packaging list, and aisle order. So in name, I've popped a couple of examples. So I popped myself, Melissa. My role is the bridesmaid, and items required, dress and shoes. Now we're not going to require 2 dresses, so we're going to change this to 1. And the cost is £50. So the total cost will automatically update. You don't need to touch this column at all. So if we change that to 1, this column here will change to 50 automatically. Okay, so you just need to input the quantity and the cost. And again, any costs here, you will need to put them down here in your vendors tab. When you've made the decision that, yep, you're definitely going to need them for your wedding, let's purchase them or plan to purchase them. Then you've got your notes and packing list. So I think this is really handy to have if you are relying on, let's say, a bridesmaid to bring something along on the day of your wedding. So I've written to bring sewing emergency kit, and that's handy again just to share with your wedding party. If you share this whole Google Sheets, they can remind each other on the day, don't forget to bring this, and it just takes the pressure off you a little bit. We've then got the aisle order here, so I've written that this bridesmaid will go down the aisle second. We then have the vendor summary tab. So this is a really important tab. This is where you're going to put absolutely all of your expenses, whether you consider them a vendor or not. If you're purchasing offline or from a shop, open the planner and input the details here if you want it to be taken into account with the budget, because this is the only tab that is going to autofill into the budget tab. So you've got total cost, paid and outstanding, total outstanding here. Now this is going to autofill from the cost, paid and outstanding balance. You're only going to edit the cost column and the paid column. You're going to see that as you edit the paid column, that's going to auto adjust the outstanding balance. And you can see those figures all changing as you update that data. So let's go through my first example, which is item description, wedding dress. You then select the vendor category. If you go through here and you don't feel that any of these categories cover your purchase, we've also got other. Now, whichever category you select, you're also going to find that the budget tab is going to pull through this data and give you a breakdown of what amount of the budget has been spent on which category. We've then got beautiful dresses. So you'll notice that I've put pay in front of the vendor name, and that is because whatever information you input there is going to autofill on the calendar on whichever date you put here. So you're going to see that on the 1st of the 12th, 2025, in the calendar, pay beautiful dresses is going to appear. So I think that it just looks better with pay in front because that's what I plan to do on that particular date. If you were going to say contact a vendor, you would write contact beautiful dresses. You don't have to do that, that's completely up to you. We've then got the booked paid tick box column. So this is purely for your reference. It doesn't autofill to any other column. We've then got the cost, paid, outstanding balance, which I mentioned. You will only need to alter the cost and paid columns, not the outstanding balance. We then have the contact details of the vendor, the package included, payment deadline, which as I mentioned, whatever date you input here is going to pull through to the calendar. You also have somewhere to just make some extra notes. Then we have our venue options tab. So this tab you can compare your options for venues, and you can compare up to 10 venues. So here you will input the venue details, the contact details and the guest capacity. Here you can pop in a picture. Like I said, sometimes it is really nice to just have the option to visualize your comparisons. And here we've got venue costs, so you can write anything that you want in there. They may have DJ included, so you might want to pop DJ there and pop the cost. And again, you can compare each venue that way. Any of the costs that you input here, they are going to autofill to the total down here. We also have a pros and cons column, so you can just go through and write what you love and what you don't like about the venue. Now, once you've decided on a venue, and then you have the floor plan. So this is a really good feature to have because even if you don't have a wedding planner, hopefully you'll have someone at the venue who will be able to arrange at least the tables for you, and you can also share it with the likes of whoever's delivering your photo booth or the DJ or the people delivering the love letters. It's very handy to have. So to edit this drawing, so initially this is going to be blank when you receive your document. You just double click in the area and it should bring up a drawing box, and you can edit this as you like. So if we pop in a top table, and then you can double click in the box and just pop top table. And once you're finished editing, then you click save and close. Please ignore that, it's unlikely it's going to come up for you. And yeah, and then your floor plan's done. We now come to the budget tab. So this tab is completely auto-filled with the exception of this column here. So when you first start using your planner, you're going to want to set a budget for each category, which will create this total budget up here, down here, and this will autofill into up here. So we have a little summary. So these 6 boxes are a summary of everything in the expense tracker below. Now, this expense tracker will autofill from all the information that you put in the vendors tab. So absolutely any expenses that you want to come out of your budget are going to need to go in there, whether it be direct to vendors or items that you've bought off Etsy or eBay. Absolutely everything will need to go into there if you want it to appear in this tab. So we've got the total budget. So that's created from the figures that you will input. You've then got the cost. So this is where you've allocated part of your budget to vendors in the vendors tab. You've then got this budget used here. So that will create this small chart. And if you go over budget, this is going to go all the way to the end and it's going to turn pink. We've then got the budget remaining. So this will autofill up here for a little summary in that table. And the budget remaining is whatever you haven't spent. So you can see it's budget minus cost equals budget remaining. You've then got the amount paid. So this is the physical payments that you have made to vendors or expenses. You've then got the outstanding amount. So where you have said that you are going to spend money and you still have invoices to pay. And then if we move further down, we've then got another chart which just projects this information but in a chart format. And it also shows you the largest cost area, which is currently venue decor. And over here, we've just got a chart again of the budget that has been utilised. Next, we've got the guest list tab. So all of these boxes here will autofill from the data input in the table below. This can accommodate up to 1,000 guests. As you input the guest name, it's going to autofill up here to the total guests invited. We've then got total invitations sent, total confirmed guests, total day and evening only, and total day and evening guests and total evening only guests. Now over here in the UK, it's not uncommon for us just to invite guests to the evening. That's why I have them to different categories in the type of guest drop down. If you are in a country where that is not the case, then you just select day and evening for all of your guests. We've then got the save the date sent and left to send. So I'll just show you an example. So I've typed in Ian here, then selected, let's change this to day and evening. You'll see the numbers up here change, and that I've sent the save the date. And again, this number up here is increased. Invitation, let's go with sent. So that number's increased again, and that they're attending. Let's change that to unable to attend. So now the number's reduced. Okay, now it's really important that you understand that as soon as you mark a guest as attending, their name is going to autofill into the next tab, the seating plan tab, which I'll go through with you in a minute. But until you mark them as attending, they will not pull through to the seating plan tab. Now, if we go further along the table, we've got accommodation column where you can just input if your guest is staying at a local hotel, gifts, address, contact details, meal information, and then you've just got 3 columns for additional information. If we move forward to the next tab, which is the seating plan tab, again, you've got 3 boxes at the top, which will autofill from whichever data is input down here. So we've got the total confirmed guests. So as previously mentioned, as you confirm that a guest is attending on the guest list tab, their name is going to automatically appear in this guest to be seated column. And then when you're ready to sit the guest, you simply select the name from the drop down. Okay, and you'll notice that their name is then removed from over here. And it's quite easy to change as well. If you just select where their name has been input, ignore that little red box if it comes up, they will simply appear back over here on your guest to be seated. So as you can see, the data reflected up here, you've got total confirmed guests, that's these 2 plus these 7. And then you've got your total occupied seats. So that's because we've sat Stephanie and Adam, and we've then got waiting to be seated. That's the 7 names here. And this tab, it has got 25 tables available for you to place 15 people per table. Okay, if we go over to the next tab, we've got the catering tab. So you can just input your caterer's contact details here and bartenders if different. And here we've got a table that summarises everything that you input below. So if we look below, we've got the welcome drinks, appetizer options, main course, dessert, dietary options, beverage options, and evening food options. So you simply input your choices here, the cost here, and the quantity here. That will autofill into this column. So for instance, if we pop, say £2, and we're going to want 10 of them, that will autofill £20 into the next column, and then the total will also autofill here. Now that data will input up here, and that will give you the overall total. Now if then you decide just to go option 1, you can just go through below and delete all of the data in option 2 and 3. Once you've made your final decision, you can look at your total figure here, and then you will go back to the vendors tab and input the caterer's details and the total amount. Otherwise that will not autofill into your budget tab. So as previously mentioned, absolutely any expenses have to go into your vendor tab. It won't pull through the data from here to the budget tab. Next, we've got our Photoshoot tab. So this is really handy to share with your photographer. So we've got the details of all the pictures that you'd like taken. So we've got category, we've got description, the location of the picture, the time, the photographer, and then the people involved in the picture, which you can have quite a few people involved. Okay, this tab is our contacts tab. The name, the role, relationship, telephone, email address, emergency contact order. So if you don't want to be bothered on the day and you've shared this document with your planner, you can simply say, contact my emergency contact, give them the name. They can come on here and see all of their details. And then you've just got the option to input vendor or guest. It's likely that majority of these are going to be your wedding party members. The next tab is the music tab. So the first table, you can input your music suppliers. So you might want to put your band or the DJ in here. You've got their name, contact details, the arrival time, the start time, and the cost. Again, please don't forget that once you've made a final decision on your music, you'll need to input their details into the vendors tab, as that will cover the expense and filter through to the budget tab. We've then got the playlist table down here, which if you share this document with your band or your DJ, it's really handy for them to have, and it just helps your day flow. So we've got the artist, the song name, when to play, and who that's responsible to. Again, that's more so if you've got multiple people helping you with the music. We've then got the photo tab. Now I've added this just because I feel like you should have it as an option. Now what you choose to input in these boxes is completely up to you. Some of the brides have used it to put examples of pictures that they would like taken on their day, and then it's obviously been shared with a photographer, and it can just help them understand the sort of style that you're going for. So we've then got our gifts and thank yous tab, which is the last tab of the planner. All of these boxes here autofill from the information input below. So we've got our total guests. So this is the amount of confirmed guests that have attended the wedding. We've then got total gifts received. So this number will autofill from this drop down when you select gift. We've then got total cash received. So anyone that has selected cash in the drop down and then a value has been input in this column. So if we change this one to 60, that will update this box here to 90. Yeah, okay. We've then got this little pie chart which just reflects the type of gift that you've received. We've then got the thank you note status. So this will autofill from the end column. So if you tick this number up here will change to 4, and if we untick so that they haven't been sent, again you can see the numbers updating. We've now come to the end of the tutorial video. Thank you for taking the time to watch it. If you haven't already made your purchase, you can head over to our Etsy shop, and the link is below this video. I've also input there a breakdown of different tabs covered at different times in the video, so if you're working through your planner and need help with a particular tab, you can refer to that and skip forward in the video, save you watching it all again. Now if you have any further questions, please feel free to email me at plan.easy@outlook.com. Alternatively, you can also DM me via Instagram at planeasyuk. You can also just comment below this video and I will try my best to respond to all the comments on the video.